My parents announced at their wedding anniversary dinner that we were going to Hawaii next week with the entire family for another party. Everyone was happy. Then I asked, "What time is the departure?" Dad replied, "You don't need to know because you're not part of us." I stood there holding the spatula I'd been using to grill everyone's food for the last 6 hours. The backyard was packed with 40 relatives, all of them staring at me now. My 3 siblings suddenly found their phones very interesting. "You can stay behind and watch all the kids," Mom added with that fake sweet smile she'd perfected over the years. "Someone responsible needs to be here." The table went quiet, except for my nephew Tommy asking for more juice. I looked around at these people I'd sacrificed everything for. My entire 20s gone. I'd paid Dad's mortgage when he got fired from the plant. Covered Lisa's entire wedding when she overspent by 8 grand. Took care of Mark's 3 kids every single weekend for 3 years so he could find himself. Jin's car payments, Mom's medical bills, family emergencies that always seemed to land on my doorstep. But I wasn't family enough for Hawaii. Uncle Pete shifted uncomfortably. Aunt Sarah looked at her plate. Even the kids sensed something was wrong. That's when I set down the spatula and smiled. The same smile Mom had just given me. "Actually, I can't watch the kids." Dad's face turned red. "What do you mean you can't? You don't have plans." "Oh, but I do. I'll be in Italy." The whole table went silent. Someone's fork clinked against a plate. "Italy?" Lisa finally asked, her voice small. "Remember Grandma Rose? The one who supposedly left us nothing when she died 5 years ago?" Mom's eyes went wide. She remembered. "Well, funny story. She actually left me her beach house in Tuscany. Been renting it out ever since. You know, the inheritance lawyer called me directly since I was her caregiver those last 2 years while you all were too busy." Dad's mouth opened and closed like a fish. "The rental income? About $12,000 a month? 5 years? You do the math." I could hear Mom's sharp intake of breath. "I was planning to surprise everyone tonight, share it with the whole family after we celebrated your anniversary. Even brought the deed to show you all." I pulled the folded papers from my back pocket. I'd carried them for weeks, waiting for the right moment. "But since I'm apparently not part of this family," the papers went back in my pocket. Mark stood up, knocking over his beer. "Wait, hold on. We didn't mean..." "Didn't mean what? That I'm not part of the family? Because Dad just said it pretty clearly, in front of everyone." Jin tried next. "Come on, you know how Dad gets when he's had a few beers." "Right. And Mom? What's her excuse?" Silence. Grandmother's old clock ticked loudly from the porch. I grabbed my jacket from the back of my chair. "You know what? I think I'll take that Italian vacation early. The house has been empty for 2 weeks anyway. Perfect timing." "Felix, wait!" Dad called out, suddenly sober. "We can talk about this. Family meeting." I turned back one last time, looking at all their panicked faces. Funny how quickly I became family again when money was involved. "Have fun in Hawaii. Make sure to send me a postcard. I'll be sipping wine on my private beach." Uncle Pete let out a low whistle as I headed for my truck. I heard him mutter, "Well, that escalated quickly." 3 hours later, my phone had 47 missed calls and 63 text messages. Lisa was crying in voicemails about how sorry she was. Mark was offering to pay for my Hawaii ticket himself. Mom sent a text saying she'd misspoken and didn't mean it that way. Dad left a voicemail. "Son, we need to talk. Family is family." But the best message was from my cousin Amy, who'd witnessed the whole thing. That was the most savage thing I've ever seen at a family gathering. "When do we leave for Italy? I'm buying the wine." My coworker, Jake, texted, "Dude, your sister Lisa just called the restaurant looking for you. She's crying. What happened?" Sometimes the best revenge isn't planning something elaborate. Sometimes it's just telling the truth at exactly the right moment. When people show you who you really are to them, believe them the first time. I'm typing this from the airport lounge. First class to Rome, departing in 2 hours. Being family works both ways. They taught me that tonight.